Almost every great ball striker I've ever seen lowers some amount in transition, like that. This lowering move is powerful, it's dynamic, and it's exactly what we see across other sports. Yet, one of the most commonly asked questions to me is, Milo, if I lower, how do I keep from chunking it? Well, today I'm going to answer just that question. It's in the hole.
That is in the hole.
Literally right down the chimney stack. All right, so I clearly lowered some amount in transition, and today we're going to talk about that transition move, how I was able to hit that golf ball relatively flush and on line, just like that. But before we get started, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We come out with new content weekly. And if you need more help with your game, come on over to milolinesgolf.com, where you'll receive swing analysis every 2 weeks and access to my full swing playbook, The Athlete's Swing. So as you can see from the videos we've showed you, all these high-level great ball strikers throughout history are lowering some amount. But I understand you might have some concerns, some reservations about how to implement that for yourself. Because you're correct, if you keep doing what you currently do, you probably will hit the ball fat. So how do we match this up? So first, let's identify why it is that you would chunk it if you added a little of this lowering element into your own golf swing. So most likely what's happening as you're changing directions, you are sending the energy a little bit more back behind you and lengthening out the system so that the golf club is now basically in a line with me, and it's getting more lengthened relative to my lead arm and my trail arm. And you can see that's going to put the golf club on the ground back here, so you actually need to make more space for that to happen. What I see every day is that there is a sequencing and powering issue. You're applying force incorrectly and at the wrong time. So what's happening is the whole system is getting too long, too deep, too soon. When I talk about the club lengthening, what I'm talking about is the elbow and the wrist lining up or elongating. In the best players, what we'll see in transition is this all moves with them. It actually stretches a little bit extra as they get a head start in the unwind, and it doesn't start to really unload until just a little later, which allows for there to be some retained angles at contact and for the club to keep accelerating through the strike. So let me show you those same concepts again from down the line. So if I lengthen this out too fast, you can see a couple things. Number one, it's going to have a tendency to make my path get out to in. Now if I keep stretching this, now you can see the club is still up and back. You can see my knees have already re-squared at the right time and reflex. So I'm reflexing as the club stays up and back. That's giving me room now to be able to turn this into the golf ball and get my low point forward and get things to lengthen out in front of me, not behind me. So that you better understand what a chunk or a fat shot is, what's happening here is your low point is too far back. So low point back, and that's what causes your chunk. So if my low point is inches below the ball, I'm going to hit the ground first. And we want our low point to happen forward of the ball, and we want the depth of our arc to be relatively shallow. We don't want divots to the center of the earth. So we need to flip that on its head. We need to send the low point more forward and not so deep. So let's get into how we do that. Let me show you what I typically see from players that struggle with this principle. So the first one, I'm going to apply power to the golf club a little out of order, like what I see from a typical amateur player. You know, and that's a pretty good golf shot. Most people would really love that. But compared with what I'm capable of, it's not great. So now here's the difference. I'm going to apply the force correctly, where I send the energy more forward. I preserve the angles a little longer and let them out at the correct time. and the result's drastically different. "50 yards different." So let's think of this like a simple math equation. If this golf club is lengthening, I'm not going to be able to lower because I'm going to reach the ground. But if this golf club is staying more up and back and the lever is staying more loaded, then I now have permission to lower down in order to get that club back to the ground, because the radius from my sternum or from my center to the club head is shorter when there is some angle preserved. When that angle gets let out or thrown out, that radius gets to its widest earlier. And this is exactly why the better ball strikers, the guys that have more speed, are able to preserve that, deliver more shaft lean, and get their low point out front and strike it even better. Now another one of the concerns I hear is if I lower, I'm not going to be able to hit the ball high in the air. So let's see what it looks like when I lower. So I definitely lowered some there, and I would guess that golf ball was like 130 feet in the air, so pretty high. Now, there is a caveat here. If you're an older player or a player that has less speed and strength, the amount of lowering and the amount of preserved angle or shaft lean we want at contact will be less. So you may have minimal amounts of lowering just because your speed is less, and in order to hit that ball up in the air, you don't need as much lean. You might actually benefit from the club lining up a little bit more at contact. So how much you lower depends on a myriad of factors, but the feel you should have will be pretty constant, and it has been for most of the players I have coached. They don't feel like they're trying to lengthen that out right away. They generally feel like what they're trying to do is wind, land while the club is still going up, stretch, and unload the speed more forward. And that allows you to lower and actually accelerate the golf club much more efficiently. So you might not have a lot of speed, you might gain some by getting a more efficient pattern. So let's walk through a quick drill, how you can control your arc depth and your low point. And I like this one, putting the golf ball on a tall tee. So this golf ball's teed up like a driver, yet I'm not going to miss it when I lower. So I'm going to be able to set up here, swing it back, lower, and deliver that golf club into the golf ball correctly. So let's show you what that looks like. Now you can see I hit a pretty darn good shot off of a tee that's a few inches in the air. Didn't go under the ball, even though I guarantee you're going to see some amount of lowering in transition there. So let's show you that now from face on. So you can see we're up, we're lowering down, we're clipping that ball off that tee there. Hard drill, but one that shows you that if you're lowering correctly, you're not necessarily going to go way under the golf ball. So to close this out, I want to make sure you understand the best athletes and the best golfers and ball strikers are lowering some amount. It's not something that's going to cause you to go under the golf ball if you sequence correctly. So you're sequencing, loading, and unloading at the right time and getting the speed out in the right place. You hit the ball better than you ever have. So let me leave you with one more shot, and pay close attention and watch how my heights change slightly in transition and how I hit this golf ball nice and solid. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Click the link below to access my free 5 keys on building a rotational golf swing and learn how to swing like an athlete. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. We'd love to welcome you aboard. And be sure to comment below and leave feedback so we know how we can better serve you. Thanks again. We appreciate all of you.